So this is going to be genuinely a very fun one, boys and girls. We have a new optional. Radeon software sprinkled on. A new cupcake for our delight. And I stepped my game up, as you can see right behind me. We got some new benchmarks we can test out. You know, because I was kind of getting a little old with the division. It was fun, don't get me wrong, and it was a consistent thing that we brought to the table over and over and over again. But for the very loyal people that I've been noticing that have been watching these things for me, and cheers for being that part of that sliver of my nerdy community, of my nerdy niche, which is my nerdy life. That's basically what my niche is on YouTube, is being a nerd and doing a lot of things. That I've noticed a consistency that Radeon is favoring certain games. Like the consistent frame rate that I got and the more consistency of Division stepped up during like the 19.4 saga versus the 19.5 saga favored World War Z and the Rage update. So now we're going to update to a 19.6.1. Is this going to favor a new game? Maybe, perhaps. But let's have another consistency and flavor a little bit on top of here. And I'm going to go ahead and start it at the most extreme since we're testing our Radeon and it's not overclocked. I ran into some issues in the 19.51 and 5.2 variants where the time watchdog clock kept clicking. So it had something to do with the GPU because of that update for some weird reason. Maybe they were overclocking the situation. If you happen to have that blue screen of like Windows era and Windows 10, I happen to get that. It just might be. But at the same time, I know Windows is becoming more proprietary to go towards AMD since the shift is happening. AMD is kind of the tech to have nowadays as we shift into a new thing. But enough talk. Let us start running a test, and as we start going into that test, I say we could go to Time Spy, yes, for a 1080p, but we want to stress the crap out of this. Just like any other creator on these networks will basically say, hey, let's go ahead. Now, I'm not going to score anywhere near Kingpin or anywhere else. I might be able to score maybe within the first like 100 percentile, like first 100 people on like my Threadripper build, maybe, just because the way I have it like tuned and the way I have my rig set up, I might, maybe. This is my 67 very common Lake Intel. It's very nice. It's overclocked at 4.5. You know, it has its inconsistencies. I have, you know, native RAM of 32 gigabytes, which is sweet RAM. I think there might be an issue with it. I haven't figured that out. I think it might be. I don't know. My Threadripper might have been demanding with it a little too much. It was good RAM though. Damn it. I love that stuff. Not the G skill. The G skill was really great. That stuff's like solid as crap. But as you can see, I'm gonna go ahead and it seems like it pulled up to the very side. Let me see if I can pull the benchmark over. Otherwise, we'll have to figure out how to get it over to that situationable screen because it's not what I wanted to do. Okay. I think it might be flipping over here. Maybe? What are you doing? It's going to graphic test one and skip the whole like outro. I didn't even know you could do that. Ah, yowza. Now what I could do is just unplug the damn other screen. It's going to flood everything on the other screen, which isn't much. It wouldn't be that much actually, to be completely honest. Might work actually. I'm gonna disconnect my display screen real fast. Shit's about to get real for a second. This should natively make it force it to like just basically go to 4K. Yes, there we go. Valid score. You didn't score anything. It's because I made you do something that you weren't supposed to necessarily do in a mid-test. Anyways, let's go ahead and see if we can just start that program over again. I disconnected that. And I think it might just be like, oh, hey, you still have a signal going to it. I might have to just connect it directly from the GPU, not necessarily just the screen. The screen's just like, hey, I just don't have anything to plug to it. The damn GPU understands it still has signal. That did nothing. Yes, I know. Sometimes I can be just as foolish with ideas, but you do find the root causes when things don't go your way. There we go. That should trigger it. Because I was like, wait a minute. Why don't I have access to that screen? That was the dead giveaway. Anyways, that'll fix itself. Okay. Where did my mouse go? Hello, mouse. Okay, so I have this larger than life screen now. Let's go ahead and get this down. And now I'm pretty sure that should have crashed it. I'm like, I would not have expected it to survive that at all. Seriously, I caused a complete error to the system live. Pretty much within the like 2 to 3 minute range of this crap, but it doesn't matter. Right now what I'm doing is completely fine. I can just start the computer. Kirby Link! Great! The shit's bulletproof. It really is. I've never caught one on fire though. I guess there's a first time for everything. But let's not digress before my freaking situation goes to rest. We're gonna go to the home screen and see if we can't like bench test some more tests, because I want to do it in 4K. Just for the simple reason, I think that that is like what a lot of creators basically say, because anything can run really high in these situations and score decently for the 1080p, which is more likely the more interesting situation that a lot of people have. But you want to utilize that just because you want to like break the barrier of the card. In that situation, you're really trying to redline it, and that's what, if there was an 8K test, I'll be doing that. In that situation, it's like 8K kind of airs in. Like it seemed like Linus was trying to like I guess go into that situationable point of expectation. Now hopefully I can skip this one. That would be so much more easier in that situation. If not, then we can always go to the patch notes I already have pulled up directly on my Threadripper, which wasn't the Intel that I was messing with. Intel, I can kind of like do that. I'm like, it's fine. We can just throw this together and throw this drive in here. We'll freaking fly faster than we ever did before. I have that right to do that with that computer. It loves me though. Right? Okay, we haven't had any bugs yet. We're gonna go with it. Loves me. Anyway, so you can see these fighting characters. It's kind of fun. I like Fire Strike in the situation too is another test I've been kind of trying to like go into and having more consistent like barrier points. But if anyone's ever seen this, this is really fun. For the first episode of me doing this, I'm going to do this, but just for most people noticing next time, I'm going to try to maybe find a fun way to do an overlay with the patch notes just go right there, so it'll be really more integrative. I'm gonna get a little bit more clever with this. This is kind of like with the bread and butter, since I noticed that this is a more consistent and more drawing fan portion. And if any fan returnees have any, I guess, idea of a portion that could like contribute to the more live experience that they would like to see in these situations for patch notes, I'd be more, I guess, open to the portion. Since you're spending a little bit of time on my network, maybe I can try to like make it more integrative and more active in those situations as I evolve the network as it goes along, as anything does. You never want to become attached to one way for too long. You want to continuously grow, just as like these situations as the goes from the regular Time Spy to Time Spy 4K to ray traceology of 8K going to Infinity K. Yeah, we're gonna stop there. Yeah, try to tap that out. Yeah. It's so pure it hurts your eyes. You will weep pixels. It's not even possible. Your tears are pixels. Just think about that. Now this has nothing to do with anything. Like I have to stress that as me as a game tester, and like I just figured out how to skip that somehow. Like last time, like by pressing a whole bunch of buttons off to figure out how to do that, just to go to the GPU test, because those are the tests I really want, or just figure out how to just do the GPU test, because 3D Mark is very new to me. I just got it synced up and like bought like the advanced copy, because it was actually not that bad on like Steam. I was like, oh yeah, that's a great business investment, you know, because this is like more of like a time point. Now this is the juicy bare bones. This is the good stuff. Yes, it's my TV like flickers off and on between HDR. This is the point of interest, because what you're trying to get down to point in case is the GPU stress test. So this is 4K natively being broadcast from my Threadripper, very comfortably doing this. It's not even like breathing past 37 to 36%. Now I could go up to the faster ones, but I'm known between like the portion of it taking in like very quick moving like graphics. That's where it starts to break down, and the percentage can rev up about 20 to 30% on your like load bearing point of any kind of processor, because you're doing this and trying not to frame tear and telling the processing point to just, you know, process this data that you don't really realize is 180% behind you, but you're gonna do everything for me really fast and make it look cool. Because I'm a gamer. What I want, damn it. Seriously. Thank you, AMD, for making it cheap and awesome. I'm gonna have a fun summer. I'm going to build interesting things. And if Lisa Sue, I swear, if I ever meet that girl, I will, like, formally shake her hand and, like, become her best friend because she's so cool. I think she is. My brother might think different because he comes from, like, a physicist, like, business background. But I like you, Lisa. I don't know, maybe I'm speaking too much from my brother's point. Maybe Lisa's points have changed. But the point is, I like the point that she had brought to the table from reliable sources. If I had to buy a new motherboard, I'll be a little bit salty, but I'll see if I can get sponsored this time. Damn it. To see if I can get, like, some points to get the 64 core. They were like, why would anyone need that? Why would you need the virtual reality processing? This is why. This is exactly why. Because I want to do really cool, like, live streams at 8K to 4K and push the boundaries of, like, what pixels can be broadcast at a very comparable network that's going to be brought in between the AMD network and Google, and what I showcase a lot of the more high yielding pixel points of what I'm doing right now. Now, if there's a lot of people on my YouTube page wondering what's going on with the update and us getting the patch notes, I will get to that right after this test, because we're going to be doing the manual not doing any kind of overclock with the situation. We're gonna overflip it to the new update right after this, cover the patch notes, then at that point in time we'll do an overclock, see what we get, you know, after we do a runner normal to test to see what we get in this balance of an update, to see if we can actually push the card a little bit farther in, like, FPS. Now, of course, when it gets to my processor, I think it's going to die. I think that's what it did last time. It just didn't really, it couldn't. It just really couldn't. So this should be the last test as we get point. And actually, since we get to this 11-minute mark, let's go ahead and shift gears real quick, and I can get to the patcheroonies. As you can see, you know what? Actually, we're here. Let me let you see this monstrosity of my processor going. This is 4K. What did you do to me? Do you realize the fight? This is why Intel's are now going to be the heaters. Even though AMD is going to utilize, see, look at that. That explosion on the ground was too much for it in 4K. Like, that was Michael Bay destruction. You have no clue. It won't even place me on scores. That's how bad it is. Look at that. That is how bad it is. On a real note, though, it does validate, and I appreciate that they validate my score. At least my GPU scores are up there. I eventually, one day, you know, I get my Threadripper, you know, that's involved in that. Maybe you know, a Navi unit. I don't know. July 7th, so it might be a pretty sweet time. But let's go ahead and go to the install, what everyone's really in here for directly. We're doing a new optional. Let's go ahead and do our express. Now we have our release notes directly here. That was really convenient. I already had it pulled up on the other one, but since it's already here, let's go ahead and grab and sink into this. You're already 11 minutes into this, and for most people, 13 minutes, give or take. Sorry, my bad. Just look down at the clock of OBS. That was 11 for some weird minute. But the point was, we're getting down to fixes and what we're really starting to actually showcase. Now, I do have a few different overlays, and I can kind of get into this, and you can kind of see mine is kind of a little bit protruding a little bit on the portion, but it's not going to be too bad. As you see that it's support for the more Xbox Game Pass PC. Fixed issue was the Link virtual and exterior game controller not functioning and some install into the Radeon. So if you were utilizing maybe like some really cool PlayStation or Xbox, probably like the controller where you're trying to play Devil May Cry or other games that are more native directly filling on a controller, these are the points where you're actually going to get more of a dialed in, like, actual situation. Now, known issues that I am really going to be more currently excited to see is them going into the live stream and uploading other content to Facebook is unavailable. They're going to be doing more stuff with that. Myself, I just broadcast through OBS. I don't use the relive, so that's not really a big issue, but it is a great talk about. Now, one of the things that I reached out to AMD, and they reached out directly to me very fast and sprightly about, was the fact that they knew that their card was not very yet ready for the next generation of streaming, and that even my 1060 Extreme card, even as it is, could do 4K very easily, actually. 30 frames, just the rate of not native HDR. You know, it's just that, you know, 30 frames, and sometimes you can trick it to do 60 frames on certain things. It wasn't really anything spectacular of what I do to nowadays. But like one of the things that you really start to sink your teeth into is that they are going to start giving us more tailored portions if you're a streamer, because this is their bread and butter card, especially with Navi coming out, even with the PCI lanes of going into 4, which I want to get into. Dear gosh, even if it's a 15% like upbring and like load point of that, that's a point for me where things start to look smoother in loading, because I watched them play like a card with just a regular RTX card of like caliber, and the way it was able to comparably take on way more, but the smoothness that came along with PCIe 4 it came more to a desirable point to me, because I was like, man, you make 4K just, it's like an ocean. It's really beautiful to watch, but I'm digressing. Let's continue on to the known issues past just what streaming and my knowledge is on that situation. The Asus TUF Gaming FX50 may experience discrete GPU connection issues with the device disappearing and the device manager when system is idle. So these are kind of issues that you will run into, and myself, I do have like some like boards that are similarly into that technology, and these are just the codes you're going to run into that have the performance errors until it becomes more mature. They'll probably have a way more better understanding of this 1 year from now versus what I'll be covering as of today. But they've come along far away, and personally for myself, I can stream pretty tough on this card nowadays versus what used to just be stone to barely a medium speed decent 1080p. What are you doing? They're like, we got you. We're doing stuff. We're like, all right, I'll give you a chance. They do good stuff. That's all I'm getting at. I like AMD. But if Intel wants to sponsor me too, hey, I'll unbox your crap. Or stuff, or really cool stuff. It doesn't have to be crap. It can be cool stuff. Whatever. Anyone can send me stuff. I'll unbox it. Seriously. Technology, I love it. Anyways, performance metrics overlays, Radeon WattMan gadgetry. If you get into the may experience an inaccurate. Yo, dear, give me a gear, gosh. You put this in this every single time that this is a known issue that you do not, and you have the literal OS. Like, this is where I'm like, soccer juice. I know you're probably scratching your head, going like, we invented this, but somehow we don't know how it works. It just like it gives us somewhat of a display, but doesn't really accurately display. Yet somehow other softwares get it right. I don't know. Anyways, I'm not contesting that. I'm just saying that's kind of been a really big known issue for quite some time. Moving on past the Radeon WattMan. The Acer Shift 3, the AMD Ryzen processor, may experience some instabilities in the upgrading of the Radeon software Adrenaline 2019 upgrade of 19.6.1, utilizing a clean install option. So you can do a lot of things when it comes down to a situation like those of just doing a clean install operation. Now, personally myself, if I'm ever given a clean install operation, I always do it just because I like to have a very sweet fresh playing field. So you never know what sometimes bumps you can like gravel over, and then you're just wondering what the hell's going on. And it could have just been easy. So that's pretty much everything that you've had. And personally myself, I'm hoping that this will be a really nice one, since they've jumped to a nice situation of where they're kind of going in a tailored port. So let's go ahead and shut that down. Let's go ahead and go to this, and let's go to our Express. Yes, I'm very much cool with you installing this. But besides that, let's go ahead and let's go back to the, I guess, benchmark test eventually. When we get our portions of success after that, we'll see what we get just as our native portions. And just as we don't forget, this is what our graphics is: 31 almost and 22. So those are pretty much our scores of what we'll be trying to beat as we come back into the score. And we'll run just a nice situation of our division, just to kind of say a farewell, to compare 1-to-1 last time as we transition out into what this update would have been, just so we have a direct comparison between the last one for the following people. They were just like, hey, I wanted to see a direct comparison of division. I know we'll be doing one more of those. But I'm starting to notice that they're doing more proprietary points like World War Z, Rage, and other games that they're trying to drop as they just come along. That's just the titles and the way that they'll try to, I guess, showcase really cool graphics for a good second. I'm hoping the Wattman eventually will get good, but I don't really trust a lot of like what they have with overclocking and software. I mean, if you really want to overclock your card, you really want to go into the BIOS. Now, I've never really done that. I relied on more stuff like what is it, MSI, and sometimes you can find like EV EVGA has some good stuff sometimes. Like, but it just depends on what software you're running and what you have. Like my Titan card, that's a really great card, and they have a great overclocking processing point, and I'm able to push that card really well, actually, surprisingly enough. But I actually like the Radeon VII better. I'm not trying to be a fanboy or everything about like AMD. I mean, it just was a cheap opportunity. I found a great Black Friday deal, and this the opportunity in time and circumstance spread me down past the Intel. I wanted an Intel, to be completely honest, but then this life changed and I became a team AMD, I guess, casually between patch notes and all these fun things. But like, there's a lot of comparable things. I'm kind of glad that I found the opportunity to learn the Ryzen software and learn all these things now, because there's going to be a whole new market of people like coming to this. Oh, cool! We got HDR, maybe. Oh no! This is the part of the update when it installs and it's just like, hi, I don't know what I'm quite doing, but I'm going to turn off your video card real fast as I uninstall stuff and install stuff. It happens every time. It's usually lucratively in the time mark between 50 to like 50%, give or take. That 10% margin of success. But a lot of fun things in graphic points. I see, like, honestly, if you're an investor of great things, I would say that AMD is definitely going to be a company to invest into. Even myself, I'm looking into sinking maybe a few dollars, few cents into them. Just to see like what they kind of yield through time. This may not be something super crazy, but I mean, I don't know, the technology that they're doing right now, and if they're really bringing a lot to the table and this can be overclocked, I mean, dear gosh, having a 16 core in a 570 board, even if you buy the 570 board, it's 300 out of pocket, give or take, and like you get like their elite, let's just say 16 core, right? $729. You're already at $1,000. Plus, you want to have a power supply. Now, personally, myself, since they're power hungry, I've been wanting to get like a 1500 power supply just for my Threadripper, and I'm gonna have to get that once I get like a really good like 16 core. Like, it's going to need like a necessity of a lot of electricity. So I'm going to obviously have to upgrade that unit, and then I have to go past that portion of giving the other unit the 1000 that I have inside of there. So upgrade and kind of like mix and match and kind of come down to those points as you kind of sync things up. Probably end up getting the same situation as it kind of comes into those places. But past that, I'm probably going to get some pretty nice RAM, especially since RAM price comes down. I might get some more high stock yielding, especially with the way that they're doing the Infinity constructs of the way I guess the matrix is going to be syncing up as they're going to be pushing the boundaries. I've heard almost up to 5,000 megahertz on the RAM, which is pretty cool. But you can kind of see the like past those points of like where you can get it. They're going to be splitting the Infinity fabric, almost like what they did with the Threadripper, and utilizing two dies and syncing them up together, which is kind of cool. Let me go ahead and open up benchmark. Since it's a fresh install, we're not going to open up Wattman. We just want to have just the pure thing so we can kind of go into it. See if I can click really fast, if we could skip the outro, because I just want the GPU test, to be completely honest. But you have a lot of understanding points of like, oh, no. Go to more tests, please. Thank you. Let's run that. Yes. And include demo. Don't include demo. I learned how to do something new today, and I'm really excited because I'm just learning this damn program. And I can do custom runs. I'm seeing this. I should read a little bit of the details before I just hit the big yellow button that says run. But it says run! It's kind of hard not to do your Barry Allen and just be like, it said run, so I just ran, and it just happened. I stopped crime somehow. I don't know. I'm sure that's what Barry would say. I don't stop crime though. I show pixels. Um, but all points aside, the point that I'm getting at is they come into more of a nice standpoint of our information fabric of where AMD is going to be offering us a great deal. So it's like let's just say like you invest, you can probably use 1,000 watt easily. I'm maybe 750 at the lowest. I don't quote me on that. I would comfortably would only utilize it personally myself if I was going to be right at 1,000, just because I'm comparing it to my Threadripper and what it would need for power, because it's definitely just two 7 dies pieced together. And they have the first 12 core, which I'm hoping might be 5 gigahertz overclocked. I don't know about the 16 core. You might actually have to get it at about 4.7 because more cores and more wattage that they spread apart past that isn't really chill. But 12 cores at 5 gigahertz is a very fast gaming PC, mind you. In fact, it might be better than the 16 core. The 16 core will be more geared towards creation and handling more video rendering in that situation where I am going, as the situation we'll launch, where it's like, yeah, I want a fast computer, where it's like, yeah, I might get a few more FPS on my GPU, but I'm not going to be able to utilize the rendering point if I'm broadcasting and encoding in a what is it, the X246 or X240 or 265 or 264 265 ways of utilizing the CPU or utilizing the GPUs and the out portion of that portion of the H264 and 265 that they offer. And like they give you a really good one with NVIDIA. In fact, they actually brag about it, that they actually have one of the better ones that they rewrote, and it's one of the faster ones that actually is comparable to an actual physical X264 at the very tail end of I think it's very fast, which I usually run on my Threadripper, which is not too bad if you think about it. Like, kind of like a way better deal. I spent a lot more on my Threadripper build and the PCIe lane expansion once I got a better like board. I mean, I getting the Zenith Extreme, like I think Alpha. What was it? I have it right there. Yeah, it's the Alpha. That was a big game changer for me, allowing my Threadripper finally to breathe and giving it the allowable unit. When I said in the very beginning of this conversation that Lisa Sue, I very much like her a lot, because she said there's more cores coming, and if she's going to give us 64 cores and I have to get a better board because of the way they do it, then so be it. But I'm still going to get the really cool second gen, going to third gen, technically, if you really think about it. I'm saying it's second gen because it's finally new technology. It's not just their plus. It's 7 nanometers, and Threadrippers. So it's like, if I can get 64 out of that, that'd be great. But it's more than likely you'll probably need more, because you'll need more of the kernel strengthening on the board in order to encumber that. Not to mention the actual physical cooldowns that will need to be happening on that poor motherboard. Now, personally, mine's a wind tunnel. It's great. So if they allow me to plug in 64 cores and run and rock and roll, this is going to destroy the shit out of the PC. I swear, one of these times, my PC, I'm gonna look over and be like, "Hey, it came to life! The fire!" That was like turning the camera over, and shit's just gonna be like, well, you'll just see it because it's right next to the camera. You'll be like, damn, he's got some special effects today. We're like, no, that's just my PC catching on fire. Oh, okay. Let's go see our results. Oh, holy crap, look at that. That was really good. Okay, so graphics test 1, you instantly see, as I can kind of swing to the side, graphics test 1. It gained a full almost FPS just through that update. It gave me a lot stronger running situation. So that was a good, steady optional, like that, well-rounded rather, because it wasn't really tailored just to like Division. If Division was running here and there, this is just like a nice situational point of Runbound. So let's go ahead and exit this real fast. Let's go ahead and open the WattMan. We're gonna bump it up a little bit. Now, notification is giving me something. Stay up to date. Oh, it's thing. Sign up today. Oh, I thought I was already signed up, but I'll sign up later. Anyways, what that I'm gonna go ahead and get into is past that is where we want to go into game. From game global settings. There's a WattMan. Now, personally, myself, I'm just gonna go with the auto overclock. Just let it do its thing. A lot of people like to go 100-volt manual. A lot of people like to go memory. Myself, I like to go the middle. You know, it's that porridge syndrome, you know. lukewarm in between, if you want to quote Spinal Tap. Tidal Tap? That doesn't even make sense. I don't even why I thought thinking about that. Anyways, I pretty much have hit this. Let's go ahead and reset. Just go ahead and get it again, and just make sure that we hit the applicable point. And hit apply. Seems like it's saved. We could save and load other profiles if we want, but it's pretty much there. And again, let's just make sure it applies, because sometimes it does. Myself in like the past, I've seen bugs, but this feels pretty comparable. Waiting for that display. That might not happen. Remember, they did talk about how that was right there, but there it goes, pops right in place. Now, just for a precaution, we'll run one test and see if there's any massive improvements. If there's not, then let's go ahead and run a reset. But I want to kind of see straight out the box. It seems like a decent overlay, but sometimes through a lot of these software, sometimes they want to do a lot of crazy crap. But after that, hopefully if everything goes successful and we see a pretty big boom, we can go to the division and end it at that point in time. Since we've hit our patch notes, we ran a new test, and we're going into a new airing point. We might run Fire Strike next time if other people, since I have this open, obviously we have a lot more opportunity points to kind of grow that are not installed that I can install. They want to see like different tests. We can get into these things. So I'm actually pretty excited. It doesn't have to be every single time the same exact test. Be different tests. But let's go ahead and, for lack of better terminology, run the situational portion of what we're gonna go, and we'll watch our CPU destroy itself again, and we'll run the gamble. It's like Russian roulette, rather. Will Mac destroy his PC? Will his Cubby Lake dry up? Tune in. That's hilarious. At least I think it's hilarious. I don't know what else finds it hilarious. I find it to be very much so. But all puns aside, since we get past these graphical tests, I'm liking and digging where the Radeon software is going. Like when they first dropped it, it was hard to kind of see where a lot of these things were holding their own, and just watching a lot of the stuff being painted on the wall, where they wanted to go versus where they are right now. So I'm seeing vaster improvements and just well-rounded, like good work, like being put into a lot of these cards, as they just like they kind of rush to get them out, and then they kind of limit what they really have. And damn, I don't know if anyone can hear that. Hold on. That's insanity. I'm gonna continue to try to talk. You can kind of hear the fan. The Radeon card, when you put it on the auto overclock, it does not hesitate to be like, okay, I'll do my job, but I'm gonna turn up the fans. I'm just telling you right now. So I mean, for thermal glass, yeah, it may look cool. You can see all your RGB if you really want, if that's your thing. But you're gonna hear a lot of huffing and puffing, I'm telling you right now. That swing around is pretty heavy. I mean, look at that. Like the FPS is struggling at 4K to keep it around like 20. Pretty insane, because if you get it on like just the regular time spy, it actually does really decent until you get to the 4K test. Which shows you like how good or how bad these are. I really would love to run like two Radeon 7s in tandem, thinking against this. I've been wondering like what the hell they would get. Because I think you can do that in Crossfire, but I'm not 100% sure how the hell you would do that, or if it's capable of doing it in these series, because I think these might just be run by themselves. In fact, I don't think if you might be able to. I don't know. I really love the architecture though, like on all this fun stuff. Personally, myself, I'm thinking we're gonna get pretty good like scores here. Looking at like how everything's playing out, and looks pretty good. And on screen to screen, it doesn't seem bad for playback or anything like that. It's pretty chill.com. Except for this part. This is where it gets Crazy. It can handle its own though on my Threadripper. It gets pretty far. And then it's just like, nope. Mm-mm. I mean, this is from the get-go. It's just like, ER, it hurts, error. Like, I didn't even notice that on the bottom because it was going so slow, and I was looking how bad it was going until it touches the floor and just stops. This is the farthest that thing has gotten. It's really trying because I'm making fun of it. The PC's like, screw you! I'm gonna do everything I can! Yeah. Whatever you say, PC. Look at you trying to make yourself just like happen. Well, holy shit, it's gonna make it. It made it. Well, excuse me. My bad. I didn't know. All I had to do to make you fit. Oh, damn. This is what I get for taunting the damn PC. I told you I was gonna catch the shit on fire from the get-go. I'll see if I have to reset it. Like, it sometimes, because this is like my lovely like watchdog area. Oh no, it's got 40%. This is what a lot of what I was getting during the saga of the 19.5.1. Not too bad, but from 19.52, holy crap, I was getting a lot of it, and I couldn't figure it out until I went back to the bare bones of the minimal portion of what was happening. Now I'm gonna give it a second, and like, no offense, the watchdog code tries, and sometimes you can leave it on for the longest time, but there's just a downtime of a proportionable point where you notice that it's just like, yeah, it's just not moving anymore. I'm just gonna reset it because it's not really gonna kill it. It won't. I mean, worst comes to worst, you just reinstall Windows and you lose nominal stuff. Because you're like normal people and you bag stuff up, right? Or you're breaking controllers. Whichever happens first. Anyways, excuse me as I go cough. 100%. Oh my. She's alive! Cool. We're gonna get a couple buckets and we're gonna pour it right on top of that lake and it'll be fine. Voila, I show you PC Planet. See? Nothing to worry. Buckets worked. Until we get to Comet Lake. Seriously though, I'm very curious to see what Intel fires back against AMD because they're gonna have to do it like at very cheap processing points. For very good. They're gonna have to undercut themselves in order to keep competitive and get the edge. So it's like we may see an insanely good APU from Intel that's so well-rounded that's just like, holy shit, that's just the processor you get for gaming, streaming, everything, content creating. It's just a powerhouse PC portion of it. What's going on here? Thought you're supposed to like transport the signal. Excuse me 1 second. Well, I realized what's happening here. Oh, voila. Sometimes with the you have these like fancy ass like splitters, and I have to get it for HDR. It's the unfortunate portion of it because like the majority of them don't work, and then you have to figure out how they work, and it's a really stupid portion. Why don't you look in HDR? You don't look like you're in HDR. What happened here? You look like you're in like really weird. Yeah, I'm gonna reset you. You don't seem normal. Okay, maybe I did do something wrong. Or this is the time I do have to format things. It's cool. At least it's documented. We're gonna reset and hope for the best. It's more likely gonna be good. I'm probably just gonna have to look at the damn native screen and see that it just like twigged the hell out for a split second. But as it reboots itself, I should hear the clink sound pretty soon, hopefully, on the motherboard. Yes, there goes. It took a little bit longer than usual. That's good. That means whatever it was not vibing on Over. It's no longer tipping against itself. I hope. Time will tell. Okay, you're definitely not right. Display settings. Done. There we go. That didn't take me long at all to figure out. No. Keep. Let's see here. Cool. That's the way it's supposed to be. I instantly knew that. I was like, something looks so freaking weird. And in fact, we'll just leave it at the recommended portion of it. I don't really care right now. Go back to the other portion. That's just my own portion. I don't like it this big. It looks really weird. Myself, I have really good eyesight, so it's like, I like it smaller than myself. But hey, maybe it looks good for playback. I don't know. Or maybe somehow my PC runs decently well. Hey buddy, we're gonna try that one more time. Just don't go to the end, you piece of crap. I was really totally cool with you not trying to make it to the end. Poor, like, this is what I get for like taunting my damn CPU. Sorry, champ. You're just gonna sit this one out. Hmm. All right. Or like Borat to be like, it's a good. Hopefully, we'll find out on M7 News. Which, by the way, is hilarious. I did not know across the sea, across the pond, there's a huge market for the name M7 News. So fun that they joined around the ranks of 2017, and I did this around 2016. So therefore, by YouTube standards, I own the M7. Yes, my name. Joy branding. Okay, before we were rudely interrupted. I guess we finally got the reset we wanted. I'll never know if there's going to be a difference or not. We are going to have to look to see if the Wattman reset itself, though. Sometimes in between the point of it doing a fatal reset like that, it will trip out due to the watchdog situation. Happen on the CPU. Or it's just mainly it saying that like it was trying to push itself too damn hard. It's like, watch out, we're watching. Not just like watchdogs, you're not being hacked, don't freak out. I would love to see a reaction video of someone freaking out because they're like, oh my god, we're getting hacked. I'm like, no, you idiot. My Radeon card got quietly loud right after I said that. Like no, we're mining your shit. Oh, that's just my VPN. They already do that as is, but they at least protect me from everyone mean, apparently. But look at that solid 15 FPS. It's so good at 4K. So that's what you need. Solid 16. The frames look beautiful in 1080p until you get to that crystal clear tear. Then you love it and appreciate it on 4K. Look at that tear. You would never get that kind of tear in like 1080p. Like, no. Y'all anti-alias. But all like pixel jokes aside, we are seeing a little good frame rate like boost up as we get towards the end. And we're not gonna see anything past more like the 30 and 60. I mean, unless I was running like a lot of like dual combination and getting like maybe some like NVIDIA like dual cards, because even like my RTX doesn't do horribly better than this. In fact, it's just right around the same, give or take, unless you were just running it with like dual and utilizing a lot of like water stock and turning them up to a more of a boost frequency that you can get cooler stuff like running to. So this depends really what you're trying to get into and what you're trying to set up. So, but since we don't have our CPU, please don't try to like come out of nowhere and be like, no, I got it, I'm like the water boy, water's good. So I honestly doesn't seem like we saw a lot. In fact, I am more tempted to see what our situation is down here. And voila, hunch was very correct, but we did better than the last time. So I mean, a reset did definitely help regardless. So let's go ahead and apply. Sounds like it's working. Go ahead and shut it down. Task management thing. And just double check. You got us right, buddy. I prefer not to sound like Polly Shore, because I'm for sure wanting to get back to 3D Mark. I want to round this up before 50 minutes hits. That'd be kind of pretty sweet. Oh, and I gotta do the division test if it allows me to, not destroy itself. Ugh. Be one long episode, that's for sure. Sorry. Thanks for sticking tuned, everyone. It's one hell of an episode, I know. At least we only have 2 tests now, and I figured out how to do it faster. Minor PC error shutdown, but that was. I gotta admit, I mean, my PC got far. It like totally Super Saiyaned. Like, I feel like it really did Super Saiyan because I was making fun of it. It was like the whole like Frieza killed Krillin moment where it was like, "You killed my friend." It totally had one of those moments where it's like, "Don't you dare mock me. You talk about your AMD shit all you want. I'll show you my Intel colors." Like, that's what they need a Super Saiyan for, and like the Super Intel. Or come on, Nvidia's already doing it with their Super RTX cards. Sorry, I couldn't. It was set up. I'm just waiting for someone to do a meme online of like when the Super comes out, like a green card, or maybe they go God. Maybe next. Hilarious. See, now that's what I want to hear. The GPU trying to lift my PC up. On a real note, if it does become airborne, then at least I know that I would have to file it as a drone with the FCC because it is bigger than my hand. And it is able to stream. Hey, but at least I can take it anywhere I want. I just gotta get a portable backpack, you know, like it's overclock it and be like, what the hell is that? Oh, it's just, you know, like my R7 card. It turns into a drone. It's not intentional, but kind of useful. Really think about it. Alright, last test, and this is going to be the toughest one of both of them. That's where you round about probably around the 22, and you barely see like a point as you go up into it, just because there's a lot of like frictionable point between the left and rights on like a serious point of like the breakdown of like what these tests are, because I personally myself have become more familiarized with them just testing them out when I first got the program and getting more familiarized with just this earlier time spy, because I was more fascinated by time spy just because a lot of the other creators had recommended like, you know, like going this, and you can go, you know, as like Heavenly or Haven, and it's not too bad. I looked into it and like it's just like, I don't know, it like this is like more of a fun point in demo that they continue to add on to, and for me it's like I don't mind spending $30 or whatever it was. It was very cheap. Even if you get it on a Steam sale like there, it's still good. But we're gonna get our results here very shortly. Not like before, we're going to go to the CPU test. Where my lovely, I don't know, maybe it was just because like my CPU was being like you know, maybe it was being bullied. Maybe I'm like making fun of it, but it was being bullied by my GPU. It was like, go! I'm overclocked. I will help you. Then it just like totally was nowhere. It's like, well, actually, I have nothing to do with that test, but we'll see what the hell. No, no, I thought I clicked it off. Oh dear God. Can we cancel? No. Don't do it. Don't go for the gold, damn it. I just want tests. I want results. Don't do it. Captain, stop giving her all she's got. This is not funny, PC. You think this is some damn joke? Like it's some show. Like I'm trying to stream to, thousands of people. But that doesn't just happen on a daily functionable point. If you make it though, I'll love you, and then I will stop making fun of you forever. And you sound like you are going to make it because you love me, and you're gonna do me a solid. We're getting there. We're gonna get the girl. Yes, I got your back. I believe in you. I've turned my switch. Turn my leaf for the better switch. Screw you, AMD. I still love you. But on a real note, make it, Intel. I need you to make it. I need you to prove to me that you can make it. Come on. Oh, there's the watchdog. Oh, it made it. It made it. Oh, TLC. She made it. All right, all fun aside, though, we definitely did see some major gains. As you can see right there, and all hilarity aside, as we got into the portion of our CPU and GPU jokes. Test 1, we instantly got a 32.12, so that in itself is a huge gain. Like if you go to your auto clock and you're going into those portions of it, we already saw before where it almost gotten like a 1, but it got us almost like a 1.1, so you're getting almost 100% more versus like what it would give versus that point of a more solid frame. And like you're doing 1080p, that's going to be massive as like the portions. And you can see like the charter points of like where you see more of the FPS turns as you kind of see up and downs, up and downs, up and downs, up and downs. Now the frame point, obviously the CPU, it never really finishes because it can't, unfortunately. It tries. I mean, I'm just so glad it got there. Guess I just gotta believe. But let's go ahead and close this and get to our division test so we can close this up pretty fast for everyone that has been watching for the last hour or so. But that was really fun. I'm happy to see that there's some, solid gains. No, I'd like you to close, please. Skipperino. Wow, okay, there's gonna be a huge patch. Let's see. That's not huge, to be honestly. Even with me streaming in 4K in the upload. Hey, no frame rate drop. That's actually pretty quick and fast. Yes, I have a very fast internet, if most people can't notice. It's very convenient in situations like this. I mean, my download is very fast. My upload sucks because they have a DOCSIS 3.0. I'm not trying to give you compliments, Commass. Don't you dare try to flip the switch and utilize that sound bit. I will utilize my own sound bit, damn it. Who sound bit? Snap. Google's got my back. Seriously, Google does have my back. 3 episodes copyrighted. Very sweet. Alright. So. And we're gonna try out our loveliness, and you can see like my GPU is kind of jumping up there. It's like I can handle this. I might go up next time just to a higher portion and see if I can test it at a better portion, because before I wasn't as overclocked and steady on my Threadripper. Now my Threadripper is solid where I got it. I got some really good advice from a person, like through another creator, just like watching and what they did, and I was just like, son of a bitch, I'm gonna try this. And I did, and I was like so happy with the outcome, and it's been way more intensively great. So I like it. Go to our benchmark. First, let's see where our graphics are rocking. We're in a custom. Personally, myself, let's go ahead and start with our high setting. Hit our benchmark and see what we can get, because I want to see more past 60. That's why I didn't really like the 19.5.1.2. Like in these situations. Wow. Shitty. Well, that's a different error. That's a total different error. That was like not even like a related to my GPU error. That was in Watchdog. At least I don't think it was. My Intel is okay, but maybe having the RTX card in there is a little bit easier because it blows the hot air out. And maybe that's the issue here, is that the Radeon card is running way too hot and it's right above my GPU and it's not really letting it air out, versus the other one is utilizing a vacuum functionable point of helping the case on top of that and the situational point. So I don't know, I'm going to have to think of the ramifications of this situation, my setup. But until the day comes where otherwise and it reset properly, and it seems like we'll have to check our wattman to make sure everything is good and then try to replace ourselves on the testing portion of moving forward again. Oh. Haha. So again, if you're having issues, and again, I'm just trying to make it overclock by itself. Definitely sounded like it just did. You know, you can always go back to a lot of these things and just go to manual setting or tweak with it if you want, like those points. So I have noticed that it has become more unstable. Now, again, it might have been because it was installing itself and it needed a reset and it tweaked it out so bad. It was just like, no, I don't like you right now. At the same time, too, my Intel is decently old. I'd like to think that I got it in like the, geez, I want to say it had to have been like early 2017, late 2016, give or take, right around that turnaround. I mean, she's at least almost 2 years old, and I didn't overclock her until like well, until recently actually. I figured out a little bit more better stable points of the way I could run my computers, and then I ran like the water cooling system through it. And it's just an AIO, nothing like super spectacularly cool, but just enough to kind of like please my own like I guess thought complex of where we were going with upgrading. And personally myself, I kind of have to agree with a lot of people. I mean, an AIO is going to be great, but unless you're getting like something that's like extraordinarily good, or you're building your own all-in-one water cooling system, which is pretty sweet. If we're wrong, that's pretty sweet. But otherwise, it's like you're not really going to get past that portion of wanting to really set into the concept of where a actual physical, just regular freaking cooling supply is going to work really great. Because I mean, you have to figure that's like a vaporizing technology. They're using the copper tubing that's pressed into itself to vaporize that thing. So it's like using the vapors. Oh my gosh, that looks so beautiful. You have to excuse me as I go past like the talk of what I was looking at past my little buddy, a thermal compound to thermal dissipant. I mean, whatever you find for your thermal loads. I mean, AIOs or just your thermal portions of just having your normals. Personally, myself, the normals are actually just as good, but you have to have fans, and that can kind of get noisy. That sometimes AIOs can be just as noisy or louder. Just depends on how you go and the convenience and how you have it set up. Seems like for me, AIOs work better when they first start up, and once they get lucratively warm or you push them too far. There isn't a turnaround rate where you can see some instabilities. So, hit and miss. As long as it doesn't leak all over my shit, I'm fine with it. Don't get any ideas, you little lovely pieces of life. I wasn't gonna say pieces of shit. No, that's not my type. Damn, I am really satisfied with this test. HDR enabled. 4K. They did well. I think honestly for 19.6.1, or an optional. It should have been a standard. Just because of the way it kind of runs. Now maybe they're kind of putting optional just because it's like they're themselves. I'm not really confident. And look at what you see right here where it says an average of 59, but you see a lot of the instability portions between zone 3 and 4, and again in the different portion between 1 and 2 as it kind of beats itself in between FPS turnarounds. So it's pretty decent, as you kind of see like right there, as like you can get into the utilization of what the card is actually giving us in a standpoint. Now personally myself, I've seen this card do better with other updates, and I've seen it go up to 66, almost 70, and it gave me a beautiful, especially in high. But they also did a better turnaround rate for having everything appear really fast and rendering stuff close and farther, where it looked more natural before. It was more of the thing. So it's like FPS obviously had to be slowed down in that situation in order for it to render certain processing points, I would presume. But this is your boy MacGyver 7th signing out. I'm going to end it here just to keep it safe, under an hour. The other ones will definitely go back to like 30 minutes and probably even more efficiently, as I can kind of like play around with 3D Mark and other tests, and us test around like with future updates as I become more current in these things. I know I kind of waited almost about like, geez, I want to say about 6 days, give or take, because this came out on the 9th. So for the community of people that definitely watched that, cheers for waiting so much. I had a lot of other projects that I was balancing on top of. I just wanted to get more showcasing point of like a better program to run this for the first time, and just add a little bit more flair. But cheers everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and end this and say if you're new to the network, subscribe. It's absolutely free. Hit that Liberty Bell and crack it down the center like it's gonna ring for liberty for free. I never charge my community. Just say join the fun. Anyways, guys and gals, I'm gonna sign out. Peace.